Hunter Patterson, NBA writer for The Athletic. Hunter, thank you for joining us, my guy.
Thank you for having me. And that was a great intro, so I really appreciate y'all.
Of course, of course. And Chris was telling me you're from Richmond?
Yeah, area, grew up in Richmond, went to Salesian and St. Mary's for high school, so the area, born and raised.
Wow. Rich what? Richmond. Yeah, I had to. Yeah, man. So, I mean, how would you assess getting into the Kings? I've seen you at the games. I don't think we've officially met, but I've seen you at the games. Chris pointed me out to you, and now you're on the show, so thank you for being with us. How would you assess the Kings these first 4 games?
I thought they played pretty well, especially without Fox the last one. Came down to the wire. Clay did what Clay does, but just in De'Aaron's absence, I thought that they played pretty well. Davion stepped up and had a season high, so I like what I'm seeing so far.
Hunter, specifically, yeah, you mentioned Davion there. I know you've done a lot of work with or just writing about Davion in the past. What have you thought about just how prepared he is to fill this role and just what you've seen what you've seen from him so far this season with his jump shot, and now that he's in this position to kind of take minutes in that starting role, what have you seen from Davion this year, and are you a fan of what you've seen?
Definitely a fan of what I've seen, and I think he's done a really good job of just being prepared to shoot. As we see, 36.4% from three,
right,
and only 2.8 attempts. But I think just the willingness to shoot may not have been there as much last season, and he's coming off DHOs, actually looking for his shot and keeping defenders honest. So I think it's been good there, and then as well as him looking to dish and get his teammates involved. That's been a plus as well.
Talking to Hunter Patterson, NBA writer for The Athletic. Hunter, you know, the Kings, they did some things against the Warriors in San Francisco that were really good. A couple things that did not go well for the Warriors was Kevin Huerter still not completely finding his shot, and Keegan Murray 0 for 7 from 3. Maybe that's because of the legs guarding, running around with Steph Curry. Should Kings fans be worried about Kevin Huerter and or Keegan Murray?
I wouldn't say so. I think we're still only a handful of games into the season. Mm-hmm. Keegan's adjusting to a new role. He obviously, Mike has been on him pretty consistently to just expand his game, not just be a 3-point shooter. And so he's kind of in an adjustment period with that expansion of his role. And Huerter, he's definitely not been shooting the ball as well, even going back to the playoffs last year. But I think last game he had 9 boards, nearly a double-double. So he's trying to find ways to impact the team other than just shooting and what we've become accustomed to in the 3-point shooting.
Yeah. Hunter, what do you think? I don't know if I'm assuming you heard about, all the reports from fellow Athletic guys, Shams, about De'Aaron's recovery time and him possibly coming back as soon as Saturday. What are just kind of your thoughts on if the Kings should try and rush De'Aaron back to or not even rush him back, but get him back as soon as possible to try and pick up some wins here? Or do you think that Saturday's a little bit too soon for this ankle injury?
I'd caution rushing back. I'd take a little bit more time, but one thing that you got to love about De'Aaron is the fact that he loves to hoop and be out there as much as possible. And right. At practice yesterday, he literally said if it were up to him, he would have been out there against the Warriors. So he's going to try to get back as fast as he can, but I personally would be a bit more cautious and at least let him sit out these next 2 games against the Rockets.
Yeah, he's getting his jersey retired. We know he wants to be a part of it, but I think we're on the same page. I don't know. Don't feel as strongly about Monday, but Saturday just feels a little soon this early in the season. Talking to Hunter Patterson, NBA writer for The Athletic. Hunter, there's been some conversations, and our own Chris Watkins has been trying to ship Harrison Barnes out on the first plane that he can find anywhere else in terms of trades. Do you see a trade in the future for the Kings to get over the hump?
I don't necessarily see a trade. I think I kind of want to see what the continuity continues to do throughout the season. HB is third leading scorer for the Kings so far, 16.3. That first game he had was incredible. And he just seems to be like a really calming presence for all the guys, especially in the locker room. That being said, though, if there are options on the table, I think we should explore them. But I wouldn't be too hard pressed to trade HB right now.
Hunter, I'm just curious. We've gotten a good look at the Warriors twice now already. I know you were at the game the other day as well. What have you kind of thought about that Warriors team, and obviously them adding Chris Paul this offseason? Do you feel like they're a better team than they were last year, or is it just kind of a different version of this Warriors team?
I have to say they definitely look better than they did last season. Just the leadership Chris brings.
Right.
He's able to get Steph off the ball a little bit, especially in late game situations. And I think that frees Steph up to not always be the guy who has to do everything late in games. And even with the second unit, I think CP's done a great job bringing JK along. Moody's game, can't really attribute that to Chris, but Moody has improved as well. So I definitely think that they're looking better than they did last season. But again, it's super early in the season.
Yeah. And then, Hunter, also today is the first day of the in-season tournament. Don't know how much of that you'll be tuning into, but just kind of what are your thoughts on that? And do you feel like this is going to overall be a success for the NBA?
I got to be honest. Not really a huge fan of the courts.
Yes.
That may be something that
a bit much.
Maybe I'll grow to like, but I don't know. I think Adam Silver is definitely trying to kind of spice things up and make the regular season more interesting. And hopefully it all works out well. So I'll definitely be tuned in tonight.
Talking to Hunter Patterson, NBA writer for The Athletic. Hunter, before we get you out of here, what should be realistic expectations for the Kings? We do a segment on here called Beamin' or Dreamin'. You're beaming if you think the Kings are going to get past where they got to last season. You're dreaming if you don't. Do you think, really the question is, are you beaming or dreaming? Do you think they will get further than they got last season?
And that's beaming, right?
Yep. That would be beaming.
I think I'm going to go ahead and rock with beaming.
Wow.
I think that this is a team that, again, like I always kind of temper expectations. The West is incredible, as we see. But I think this team is really only in its second season of putting it all together. Keegan, I mean, we talked about it a bit earlier. He's adjusting to his new role, but I'm expecting him to, again, kind of have a breakout season. And yeah, once De'Aaron gets back, he's averaging 31 right now, only through 3 games.
Crazy.
But he's really in a different mode right now. So we'll see if they can bring it all together. But I do think this will be just as good of a season, if not better than last year.
That's what we love to hear. And that is how you become a friend of the show. And that is what you are now. Hunter Patterson, NBA writer for The Athletic. Hunter, thank you so much for joining, and enjoy your weekend, my friend.
Likewise. I appreciate y'all having me.
All righty. Have a good one, man.
All right. Y'all too.